but I am putting all my eggs into the Google basket for 2022 for not just what we do for our clients, but even for my own business here. And so I just wanted to show you a quick example of what we're talking about and what George is alluding to. And so I live in Naperville, right outside of Chicago. So if I were to look for a Google search for Naperville real estate agents, a couple of things that are super interesting. The first thing that we notice right now at the very top is you don't see any paid ads like we used to see for like Amy Kite, like she's a big person. This is a Chicago area person that advertises on the radio, like they spend a ton of money. What we see instead now are these things right here, which are called Google local service ads. And what they're trying to do, it's so ingenious, they're trying to displace the Home Advisors and HomeLight and Dave Ramsey and 55 Places and all these other companies that are basically lead generators that then dole out those leads and try and get referral commissions. Google's like, why are we letting them take up space? Why don't we just do that? And so they came up with this thing called Google local service ads, which is these right here. So at the very top, so if you go on your local market, you go on Google and you search for whatever, Raleigh, North Carolina real estate agents, you're going to see something similar. And what happens is people see these and they click on somebody and then they come here and you can say, oh, what does this mean? Google screened. Oh, this person has been background checked. And so they're trying to communicate to the consumer that this is somebody that you can trust. And by the way, they've got a whole bunch of reviews if you want to see the reviews. Oh, and by the way, here's all the services that they have in this one clean interface. And you can call this person right here. So I could literally call, because most of these searches are going to be on mobile. You could call just by clicking on that link and go right to the agent. And what's really cool about this is that Google is now saying, hey, we're only going to charge you as the agent if they call you and you pick up. And so this is really nice because it's pretty inexpensive and you don't get charged unless you actually pick up the phone. Now, the downside is that if you don't pick up the phone enough, they're going to stop sending leads your way. So you got to pay attention. The other thing that's 100% free is this stuff right here. So if we scroll down a little bit, so we see these ads at the top, then we see your traditional pay-per-click ad right here. And then the very next thing, what do you know? It's also something that's owned by Google. And this is what George is talking about, this Google Business Profile. And Google refers to this as the 3-pack. And they call it a 3-pack because there's always 3 agents right here. And what they're looking for are what they call radius reviews and response time is kind of how Google looks at it. So radius, notice that my search was for Naperville, the town. What do you see in the title of each of these 3 agents? The word Naperville. So they're trying to give people, or the consumer, a real estate agent that is close to them. And then reviews, you see all these people have reviews, but not a lot. You can see 29 here, 24. I bet a lot of you people have more than just a handful of Google reviews, so you could definitely compete here. And then response time. So whenever these people have been contacted in the past, Google knows that these agents have responded. So Google says, oh, we can trust you, Mr. or Mrs. Agent, for us to show your name again. So when people come in here, they can click on this. And so this person right here, Nicole, I know her. And so people can come here and go right to her website and find out more information about her like this. And these are all free. Google is doing this for free. You don't have to pay for any of these people, any of these leads. You just get the benefit of if you keep working the Google system and you keep getting reviews. You see she's got 79 and you kind of pay attention and you keep updating your page. Like you can see here that she updated her page a week ago. So she's paying attention and Google's like, oh, thanks for paying attention. In return for that, in return for making us look good, we're going to keep showing your name anytime somebody looks for Naperville real estate agents. So this is kind of like a mid to long-term strategy. This is not something that's going to net you leads tomorrow if you start today, but over a matter of months and certainly over a matter of a year or two, if you do this stuff consistently, it's an effort to be building your business because nobody ever went broke getting found on Google for free.
Sure.
So like, if you just kind of like do what you're supposed to do and get some reviews and pay attention and give Google a little bit of juice and say, hey, I'm trying to do what you're asking me to do, they're just going to keep showing your name in search results and you get business for free. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think Nicole is getting 50 to 70 calls a month for free right from this.
Wow.
And John, what are they charging you for the other ads?
This is going to vary a lot by market and the competition, but you're probably going to see lead costs anywhere from $30 to $70 each. And again, that's only if you actually connect with somebody. And if you connect with somebody, by the way, and it's a spam call or something that's not legitimate, you can actually tell Google, hey, this person wasn't legit. I want my money back for them. And they'll take that off your bill. So they're trying really, really hard to service agents very well because they see this as a huge, huge moneymaker. And they're trying to make it work for you because they don't want Home Advisor and HomeLight and Angie's List and all these companies to be taking their money.
And are they, do we have a resource at Google that we can connect to help juice the skids a little bit for us?
They make it, that's one area where they fall down a little bit. They don't make it that easy to kind of do this on your own. You can just do a Google search for how do I start a Google business profile, or go on YouTube and you'll find a ton of videos and stuff. But they don't make it super easy, I'll just say up front. So you got to pay attention. And really the biggest thing that you can do is just get reviews on a consistent basis. Don't get 10 on day one and then none for the next 8 months. Like give it like a consistent thing so they get the impression that you're consistently doing work.
So in terms of location, since we don't have one,
It's just your home.
Yep.
yeah, I don't want that all over
What's wrong with
Google.
that on the internet?
Yeah.
Well, it won't show. Like if you mark it, like when you put in the address, you have the option to say that you don't want it shown. And in which case you would just have the city.
Well, Barbara, we have the office at Six Forks. I mean, we don't go there, but that's
So
our.
I've
business.
actually lost listings because they say your office is too far from my house. And I'm like, they wanted somebody closer to, because I was at Six Forks. I'm like, I'm not really at Six Forks.
I would like John said, I would use your home address and just say, don't make it shown.
Yeah.
It's this piece of paper that you get and you literally just get a code to be able to build your profile. So I think that's really important. What's up, Maria? I know you came in when John was talking there. Chris and Mallory, maybe you could talk a little bit about, I know that you guys really put this as something you want to focus on like October, November, and it probably made little strides there. But I'm curious to know what you're doing with it and if you've noticed any lifts, things like that.
Yeah. So, and on Barbara's point, the other thing is you can put, the areas you service and stuff. So once you activate your profile, you have to have the address in order to get the thing mailed to you. They won't do it via email or anything. So it has to be mailed to you and then you can sign up. But once you do, I think ours is public. Let me see. Yeah, but we here, can I share my screen?
Yeah, let me make you a post.
Good. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is our profile, and I will say these pictures random. I don't know why these are the ones that have come up. We did like a photo dump just to try to kind of have more stuff on our profile, but anyways, we really did not start soliciting Google reviews until way after the fact. So one of the things that I like is you can see down here, we were much more heavy on Zillow for a long time. We played in the Zillow sphere. We always had people review us on there because we figured that's where people were looking. So it also does pull some of these through. And so I like that as well. And it links to those. But now we always, rather than sending out 5 different places, like, hey, give us a review here, 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 and here, we created a little graphic that just says, click this button to give us a Google review, takes them right to the review page. So we're focused on putting everything here because when it's all said and done, probably the vast majority of real estate searching historically has gone on Zillow, but the vast majority of searching happens on Google. And so we were trying to cast that wider net as Google is also trying to draw that in. Again, our profile I would say is far from perfect, but it has been one of those things that I find us showing up in more places. We also, because Lake Murray is big in our area, it's big for luxury property there. We include that in our name. And then you can see our picture here. This is actually our location. This is actually my mom's house. So you can choose whether or not you want to have that public, but because we put Lake Murray in there, we showed a house that's on Lake Murray basically. So that's why we chose to do it, but you don't have to do that. We've got to be a little bit better about updating this consistently. But again, it's just a place where your business is in another area. And if you start to link, like, when people search Lake Murray, our profile comes up a lot. And we've had plenty of times where we get these phone calls and, you know, we ask, where did you find us? And they do say like, hey, I found you on the Google. Now, we are not, and I'm glad that John talked about it, we are not the Google certified up here at the top. I've looked into it. And truly the only reason it hasn't happened is because you just have to provide proof of a form of insurance, I think. And then you have to do a background check and a license check. And honestly, dropped the ball. If I'd have you know, planned ahead of time, obviously, as far as this goes, I would have loved to have done it sooner. But I did about a month and a half ago, I started to look more at what was Google My Business. Now it's called Google Business Profile. And I saw agents in our area that have it done. And I'm like, darn it, how do I show up at the very top there? Just like when the game used to be Zillow, you wanted to be the first 3 agents on a listing or whatever the case may be. They're following that same thing. You know, you can, and we haven't done this a whole ton yet, but you can also have questions answered and stuff like that here, just creating that you are a resource for people. You know, again, it's not perfect, but it just drives to another location on the web where people can find us. And I would just say that I think when we think about how people search, you know, if you're looking Lexington, South Carolina, real estate, you know, because we service those areas, because we utilize and we use Google stuff, even though we don't use it really well, we still use it more than some other agents. We're pulling up more often. And I think John hit the nail on the head too. One of the things, and this is what our marketing company has told us too, the more that you utilize the free services from Google My Business, the more that they're going to promote you. But you just have to continually learn as they add new things, they take things away, etc. But again, it is free, you know, and that's the trade-off as well. I mean, we paid, buku dollars to be in those sorts of positions on Zillow. I mean, in the thousands of dollars per month that Google's offering. And so now everything we do still drive reviews to our Facebook, but in my opinion, and I could be wrong, I do think that Google will outlive whatever the shelf life of Facebook will be. And so we started to say, you know what, we want to be part of this because of that. And so I'm a big proponent of it. And when I heard that John was going to be talking about it, I was like, oh, I cannot wait to hear this, because I know that we're just scratching the surface. One of the other things, John, and maybe you know a little bit about this, but I did sit in on a call it was something that got promoted on Workplace about Google Business Profile. And they said too, that one of the other things is if you start to link, like if you start to write blogs, or you have someone writing blogs for you and you link them to your Google business page, I guess if someone searched, for example, I live in a community called Persimmon Grove. Well, if I wrote a blog on Persimmon Grove and it's linked to my Google profile, then when people Google Persimmon Grove, more often my profile will pull up, or something to that extent. Have not done it, have not practiced it to show it, but it was one of their suggestions, was start writing blogs about the neighborhoods you farm.
And mentioning the cities and just
Yes.
your area that you're in, so that all that will pull through to
Hit the search
Google.
words is basically
Yeah.
what they were saying, and start small and then expand. So again, not an expert, but that's our experience with it. And I'm definitely all in this year. Like I said, we're driving all of our reviews there going forward.
You mentioned that it would pull through your Zillow reviews. Did you have to do something to that, or?
You know, I don't know exactly how the two of those got linked. It's a combination effort between, like, we do employ a marketing company, and then I go back there and mess with stuff. So there are times where I get clicking around and maybe I did that, but otherwise I'm not 100% sure on how the two are linked. But I do know just from observation that they are linked now. So I'm sure you know, there's an FAQ somewhere on that, but I liked that because we have a heck of a lot more Zillow reviews over the last few years than we did Google or even Facebook. So it adds that additional credibility while we build this profile up.
Yep, that makes sense.
John, do you know kind of what Chris was saying, if the Zillow profiles were automatically linked, or if you have to check a box, or any other insight on the Google business profile that we should know?
Google knows all. That's what I would say. Like, it's scary. I don't know that particular thing. I don't know exactly how you set it up. It could definitely very well be a manual thing, but also a lot of times what they're going to do is the title that you give your business, they'll find that title elsewhere and kind of assume some things even. So that could be where it came from as well. And one thing I noticed with you guys had 70, it said on there 742 views this month alone. 742 times you guys showed up and people clicked on your page for free in the last 23 days. That's incredible. You
And,
know,
and it
like,
would, and it would probably quadruple if you were blogging.
For sure.
Seriously.
We haven't poured any gas on this thing for the most part. You know what I mean? We really are scratching the surface. So I'm all about sharing best practices and learning best practices, because it's definitely an area that really needs to be a key cog in our business for sure.
And interesting enough, while we were talking, I just got a text from another agent who used to be on my team. He's still at Remax. So I had lunch with him yesterday trying to get him to EXP, but he just said that he was watching a video from an EXP agent talking about Google pay-per-click is what he said, which I'm not going to correct him right now until he joins EXP.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Tell him, yeah, pay-per-click. I know a little bit about that. Let's talk.
Let me
But
ask
what
you
is
guys
this,
this.
what's the starting point for all of this? If we have ground zero, nothing established, no page there, where do you begin?
I think you just Google business profile, and then you click to enter an address, and then they'll send you this that has a code that you need to be able to enter to be able to start setting it up. And then from there, it's kind of like Liz did with KV Core. It's a little bit each day, right? Adding reviews, a little bit more intentional. Let me ask you this, it kind of goes with what Derek's saying. Is everybody currently, obviously you just heard about Google business profile, but currently, are you guys just driving all reviews when a closing happens? Are you driving it to Zillow? Are you doing it? I get emails automatically sent to me from realtor.com. Like, what should be the strategy? I know there's Real Satisfy, there's a few others. Like, I don't want to ask people 4 or 5 times for a review. What's the one catch-all, right? Should it be Google now and forget everything else? Like, John, what would your suggestion be? Like, does Real Satisfied put it on Google as well as Zillow and all these other ones?
it's certainly a hard question. Like I would never say don't do something ever when it comes to marketing, but this is a question of priorities, if you ask me. And my priority personally would be Google, because A, it's never going away. B, it's guaranteed to be where people are going to search. And then from there, I guess it's kind of up in the air what you find more valuable for what your business is all about. But definitely Google would be the first place, because those will never disappear.
Yeah.
And we can see that they're actively trying to get Zillow out of the picture. Like, they're doing everything that they can. And so I would never place my bets against Google, like at this point.
Barbara, what were you going to say?
Well, so I come back to my, my focus. I don't want to get leads around my house or just Raleigh. I mean, I want to stay. I mean, I have specialized in active adult and I'm known there. So if I just put that in my title, you think that help Raleigh active adult, or what would you say about that?
Definitely the location in the title is going to be extremely helpful.
So if I said Raleigh active adult though, because those are spread out.
Well, see, the thing about the title is that technically it should reflect your technical legal company name. So you can't just put a bunch of like keywords in there, so to speak. I mean, you can, but if they figure that out, or quite literally people can tell on you, like people can file complaints and say they're not playing the game the right way, in which case they'll suspend it and all that kind of a thing. So you want to try and be accurate while still influencing the result by, if you can put in a location name that's helpful.
Anybody that you get that you don't want to work with, you can just refer them
There you
There
go.
we go.
You are gonna be busy, girlfriend.
Especially now, seriously. I mean, keep that in mind, like, as it relates to 55 places in neighborhoods.com, we can post those reviews ourselves, right? And use our email address. Don't waste your time asking for somebody to review you there. I think it's definitely,
Sorry, I'm still not sure about
wow.
that.
I think it's definitely Google or Zillow, and I would definitely say if you were focused on Zillow before, I think everybody should focus on
Here's what I found.
Google. Suri thinks that she has a better idea, so we'll let her tell you.
And I was gonna say, the thing about Zillow too is like, I don't know if it happened in all the areas, but for a while in certain areas when they were rolling out like that they were gonna be a brokerage or those kind of things,
Mhm.
all of a sudden they pulled any partner agents who were not paying, like you couldn't find them, for a little bit. And then there was some uproar and they ended up back on. So that really scared the hell out of us because we used to be paid agents, like we paid to play there, and then we stopped, and they like, wasn't just us out of spite, but it started happening like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's all of our reviews and now they're gone. And similarly, we have them on Facebook, but we don't have nearly as many. And then we ran into people who said, well, hey, I don't have a Facebook. And I'm like, okay, or they didn't use Facebook anymore. So we ran into that. Everyone uses Google. Everyone who uses the internet uses Google. And so it just makes it so much more streamlined and easy. And Google's got where you can send just the actual, like the button that we have that you click. Once you have a Google, gosh, I keep wanting to say Google My Business, but a Google Business profile, you can send a review link where it will just pull it right up. So they don't have to search your profile, then click reviews and whatever. It's just, they click the link, they're right there. All they have to do is type. If they are linked to a Gmail, it'll pull that through that they're logged into that. So really, really convenient too, which is what Google's all about.
I mean, I think any of you that have a transaction coordinator, that should be the final step in the closing process is send out link to Google Business Profile reviews.
You don't have to do that because when you close them in KV Core, you can have it set up to automatically send an email with all that stuff.
Damn.
Why do you need to have a transaction coordinator do it?
Seriously, I mean.
But you can have your transaction coordinator go into KV Core and do it.
And yep, have them move them over to close and boom.
Yep.
So Chris
I
and
like moving
Mallory,
with the
you
flow.
guys
That's
have
like-
one page, right?
Yeah, so we're part of a team, so we just funnel under one team page.
So somewhere along the way, it appears that I've created a team page. Because I'm up here, it looks horrible and it doesn't have any information, doesn't have any reviews because I didn't even know it was here. But I'm sitting here looking at mine right now. But I'm going to try to change the whole thing.
Now, one thing it will do, and I'm just going to warn you, is like when they switched over to Google, My Google Business or whatever, if you don't give them a page to link to for your website, they will just create one for you. And it's not that great. So be very careful, like make sure you give them the link that you want the website button to link to, because somehow ours got screwed up. I don't know if it was there and then it went away or whatever in the change, but then they created just a very static kind of, it didn't look how we wanted it to reflect, I guess is what I would say. It looked very amateur because it was probably just very aggregated kind of thing. So just make sure that you're very sure of what all the buttons pull up for you when you do get it set up.
So would y'all suggest that that instead of just Rick Perkins eXp Realty, that it's Rick Perkins eXp Realty Richmond and surrounding areas, or what?
Something like that is good. I mean, we put Lake Murray in ours because that's what we're really trying to attract is our highest buyers there. But yeah, Richmond.
But it looked like you had multiples.
You can service multiple zip codes. So like one of the things that John showed is it showed like areas you service. So we have multiple zip codes, but in the name we have the Lafayette team at Lake Murray, or Lafayette team of Lake Murray at eXp Realty, strictly because like our branding doesn't say that everywhere else, but because we're trying to drive more and more lake business.